You got sick again, didn't you?
Yeah, it's the I don't know what it is, but it's not good.
Because I think over the course of time we've done this show, like the frequency with which you're ill has increased.
It really has.
Massively.
I think it's the strain of peering into the tooniverse.
I think it's that you keep going out and doing stupid exercisey things because you listen to your friend Dr. Bear and not to your friend Dr. Chris.
Yeah.
Who says, don't do that. We'll just sit in, we'll have a cup of tea, we'll watch some cartoons.
It is really hard to get ill if you just sit in the house, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good.
But, I kind of like the outdoor bit.
Like, we'll try that for the next little while.
Yeah.
See if that works.
Okay, we'll give that a go.
Let's do a couple of sickly shows.
Yeah, all right then.
Hello and welcome back to the Space Jam Continuum, the show where we try to make a cohesive cinematic universe out of something that was never meant to be one. I'm Chris McLennan.
I'm Carl Noble.
And, you're excited about this one, so maybe we can pep you out of this sickness.
I hope so.
It doesn't sound promising at this point.
I know, but we haven't got to the episode yet, but we will do soon. So, that'll hopefully liven me up.
We're in the episode.
I know, but we haven't watched the episode, the episode of the cartoon that I'm really excited about.
Episode.
Yeah, the light at the tunnel. I had a lemsip. I'll get back.
You're a consummate professional.
I know, right?
So, what did we discover last week before we dive in?
Well, there was something about a company called Cinecolor, which,
yes.
it was, we just colour film to make it all colourful. Nah, you don't. You're a cloning agency, obviously.
Yeah, so we looked back at the various incarnations of Hector we've seen.
Yes.
And they're drastically different, often in temperament. Ranging from, cool-headed to full-on rage monster.
Yeah, some are alive, some are dead.
Some are alive, some are dead, some are grey, some are brown.
Yeah.
And
some are amazing athletes.
Some are amazing athletes.
But that one's now dead.
Yeah, but that one's now dead, unfortunately. But, so, we're wondering, why do all these different Hectors exist? How are some of them seemingly surviving death? And the answer is they're not.
They're not.
They're a series of clones.
Yeah.
And we think cool-headed Hector, who we know is destined to be the counterpart to Sylvester,
yes,
going forward, is probably like their most successful clone to date.
It depends what they're cloning them for, because if they're cloning them for super soldiers, maybe he's not their most successful. Maybe he's the one that just well, he won't fight, so should we just kill him? And he's escaped.
Maybe it's
he was
all
got
possible.
in the bin, but he got out.
Yeah, it's all possible. And yeah, I mean, as you say, cloning for super soldiers, that's interesting because that harks back to Bugs Bunny, who in a previous episode, quite a long time ago now.
Yeah, well, season 1.
Travelled back in time to stop a hideous super mutant future from coming to pass.
Yeah.
By stopping a scientist who was creating a super soldier serum.
He was.
And now we think that's more like Judgment Day. You can sort of, like in Terminator, you can push it back.
Yeah, but it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
So, this is going to have to be a repeated process, finding out what the catalyst is this time, going back, putting an end to it. But right now, we've got a cloning agency operating under the front that is Cinecolor, trying to create a super soldier.
So we need to keep an eye out.
So we need to keep an eye out.
See what they're up to.
Especially on Hector episodes, but also, any episodes we have marked as Cinecolor.
Yeah.
The other big deal last week, it was a Yosemite Sam heavy episode.
It was.
In one, he was a pirate. In another, he was a cowboy. Now, that's quite a long time span.
Yeah, it really was.
And it got us thinking about a picture we posted up a long time ago on Twitter, which it's like Yosemite. It's a good picture.
We'll have to put it up again.
And we'll put it up again. But we'll always put it up again.
Yeah.
It's a good picture.
It's great.
But, it's Yosemite Sam, and he's shaving his moustache off, but like he's sort of shaving down one sort of side of it, and it's just this big tentacle, which was previously a furry tentacle, and it put us in the mind that maybe he's some sort of Cthulhuid-esque horror.
Yeah, like not quite Elder God level, but he's
and that's why
eternal.
That's why he can he's not time traveling like Bugs. He's just existing.
Yeah, but I mean, we did also suggest that he's actually from the Marooniverse as well, and not the Tooniverse.
Yeah, we posited that before. Bugs calls him a maroon a lot.
Yeah, he does.
And since watching Who Framed Roger Rabbit at the end of last season, we know there's a whole set of maroon toons.
There is.
And we think Yosemite Sam is one of them. And he's... Because
Dropped
also
over at the
he
Tooniverse.
appeared there in 1947. We saw him there in Toontown.
Yeah, he was there.
We think he's trying to stake a claim on the Tooniverse now. He was wearing his maroon colours.
He was,
Bugs is calling him maroon. He's really trying to, put his stamp on a town in the Old West.
Yeah.
Well, it might be the Old West, but it's more likely to be just a human, like a previously human settlement in the Tooniverse.
Yeah, and he's trying to become, I don't know, the overlord of the area.
Yeah, just the full-on sort of outlaw who's come and take over a town. It's a classic Western sort of trope. But we established very early on that there was, and it's sort of gone now, but there was a definite demarcation between human settlements and animal settlements in the US in the Tooniverse. And so human settlements tend to be a bit more behind. So we actually think Yosemite Sam is in the modern day in the Tooniverse.
Yes.
But in one of those, more frontier sort of towns that still hasn't caught up to the big city, like the rest of the Toons. So that's sort of where we're entering today.
Yep.
But we've been looking forward to the first episode of this for a long while, because it's your good buddy.
It is. It's Marvin the Martian. I'm so excited. Is this one going to be Marvin on Earth? Is it because it's Bugs as well? Because it's the classic pairing, or is it going to be Bugs in space?
Yeah, who knows? It's called Haredevil Hare.
It is,
and I don't really want to speculate too far on it without just diving in because I'm excited too. Yeah. So this is the first appearance of Marvin the Martian. He's starring alongside Bugs Bunny, as is his custom, and we're watching Haredevil Hare from July 24th, 1948. Let's do this. That. Whole bunch to think about there then.
That was really good.
Yeah, that felt like really quite modern.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It did.
Occasionally you get one and you go, oh, that just feels like a new one.
Yeah. As an introduction to Marvin, that was fantastic.
Oh, absolutely.
Because
and he only
didn't
had like
say
2
much.
or 3 lines.
Yeah, exactly.
But then he always does.
Yeah, his voice wasn't quite as I remember it though.
Oh, it's pretty like it's close.
Is it there for you?
Yeah. I think it's just because he didn't say, like, he really didn't say very much. But it's very similar to what I remember.
Is his dog is there? I'm guessing it's a dog.
Well, I mean,
because his dog's not as prominent.
It's a Martian dog.
Yeah. So, for the start of the episode, it's Bugs Bunny volunteers to go to the moon. It's a newspaper article, and Bugs is being dragged by a bunch of blokes towards the rocket. Now, Bugs doesn't use his ability to travel through soil to get away. So I'm thinking he was
I don't think he wants to, because they're actually physically dragging him at the time. I don't think he wants to show that that's
an ability.
He has.
Yeah, either that or he's feigning that he doesn't want to go.
Yeah, there's possibly a bit of both, but we know at this point that he's terrified.
Yeah,
he doesn't want to go to the moon.
Nope.
And so this gives us some Bugs origin because we know now that this eternal time traveling rabbit is still been working within the confines of Earth.
Yes,
the whole time.
He's not able to travel to other planets, and it's potentially because other planets don't have soil or the right soil, potentially.
Yeah. It's also the first time we've seen any confirmed governmental affiliation for Bugs Bunny.
Yes.
Like Daffy, we've seen.
Yeah, we're fully aware he's been...
Even just during the war. Whereas, like, this could be the advent of Bugs' time, with the government in the universe, with the agency. There are humans in a governmental body, which is new.
Yes.
Or at least, like, we haven't really seen it before.
No.
But, yeah, so they bung Bugs in a rocket, and they send him to the moon.
They do, but what actually sells them on it is they tip a load of carrots in as supplies, and he sees that and goes, yep, I'm in, but we do find out something quite interesting beforehand. He's screaming, no, I don't want to go. Think of my wife and millions of children.
Yeah, which adds up, really, because he's a time-travelling rabbit, and Well, I mean, that's it. There's the two real factors.
He's a time traveler and a rabbit.
Every time Bugs Bunny, gets the horn and gets his end away, it's probably a good number of kids. Yeah. And he's eternal and travels through time.
Exactly. So he's probably been at it a lot.
And as demonstrated even later in this episode, he has vampiric levels of seduction powers.
Yeah, he really does.
He just goes, okay, just switch it on, and anyone's immediately infatuated with him. So he's got a lot going for him, and the idea that his claim of having millions of kids is not hyperbole in the slightest.
No, not at all.
But yeah, they bung him in the rocket, seemingly just straight in the fuel tank.
Yeah,
because he hits the bottom of the rocket as he goes up.
Yeah.
But it's not a staged rocket; it just goes all the way to the moon. Crashes.
Oh yeah, like they did not think about it. They fired him at the moon.
Yeah,
they didn't send him to the moon. He was fired at the moon.
But he steps out and he's all sort of lurching and twitching all over the place. But then suddenly seems fine, and we're wondering if, I guess it's not a full-on moment, but whether I don't know if it's a bug's power, or if it's, or if Toons can have a second moment. But it sort of looked like he was adapting, it had been wrenched around from the inside, and then suddenly he was fine.
Like we're assuming he couldn't breathe, and then developed the ability to breathe. So either he could always do it and just never knew that he could, or his body changed to deal with the situation.
Yeah, because it could be like in a sci-fi thing where they take off the helmet and someone's immediately and then realizes that they can actually breathe.
Yeah.
So it could be like that. We're not sure, but it's worth thinking about. But
you see more people go to the moon. That's the thing.
Absolutely. But shortly after Bugs' arrival, another ship with Mars to Moon expedition arrives. And out comes our little Centurion helmeted, skirted.
That's something I want to talk about.
Right. Okay.
Why is everyone on Mars? Why they're all Centurion dressed? Because even the dog was.
Yeah, but I don't. No, but so I was thinking about this. So the dog in this situation, it's not like Hector.
Yeah.
Which standing on his hind legs. It walks around like a dog. But it is intelligent. It can talk to bugs. It follows Marvin's orders in not a dog, but not in a dog-like way.
No,
but in a military type way.
Yeah,
he salutes with the ear.
Yeah,
and he's off. Now I think life's developed a bit differently socially on Mars, right?
Right.
I think you still have intelligent animals and intelligent humans, but the humans are like Marvin. Marvin's like your human.
Yeah.
Well, Martian.
Yes. Yeah.
Entity, but they've got their dogs, Martian dogs. But they never had that split. They never had that civility. Everything's just evolved alongside.
Okay, so everything's developed equal intelligence at the same time.
So the dog doesn't try to ape the Martian.
Yeah,
by standing on its hind legs, putting on a tie, going to his business job.
Yeah.
They've just all come together. So the reason I think we just see military Martian presence.
Right. Okay. And you think that's just a classic military uniform?
Yeah. Which is it's skimpy.
Yeah.
But it's mainly a sort of Centurion hat.
Do you think the brush on the head does anything?
The brush, yeah. Well, I think that's just you can take it off. You can sort your Converse shoes out with it.
Yeah,
because that's part of the uniform. Yeah. More basketball shoes.
Yeah.
Which goes a little way to explaining why aliens, in any sense, are ever going to be challenging anyone to basketball specifically.
Yeah.
And this might be a point where Bugs goes, yeah, it's basketball.
Yeah, but that's it. He's like, I'm in space now. It's going to be the basketball. But...
Yeah, because, I'm sure any newcomers to the podcast have worked out in this season by now that we're working to Space Jam. Right?
Yeah.
That's where we're going. And we've started to see these hints, and I think the entrance of Marvin the Martian is very interesting in that regard.
Yeah.
Not only because Marvin's got the Converse shoes, the dog here's got the Converse shoes, but the only other completely alien entity we've seen, not an Earth animal, not a human, is Gosma.
Yeah. And he has
basketball shoes on.
Yeah.
So it's all starting to tie together, even now in 1948.
Yeah. It's quite early doors.
Yeah. Anyway, the episode progresses.
Yeah.
Marvin...
He's trying to blow up the Earth.
He's trying to blow up the Earth.
Yeah.
Which Bugs takes, I would say, a little too long to put into perspective.
Yeah, but then he does take it personally.
But yeah, and again we get confirmed Bugs' origin because he says, everyone I know is on the Earth, so we know Bugs hasn't
ventured further afield
because he has no reason to lie to Marvin the Martian.
No, why would he?
Because early on, he might have been lying to the government.
Yeah, about his millions of kids.
He's trying to keep his powers under wraps, but at this point, he just wants someone to not blow up the Earth. But yeah, he takes the fuse, I guess, out of this.
Yeah, I can't quite remember exactly what Marvin calls it, but it's not just. It looks like a stick of dynamite, but it's not.
Oh, did he have a special word?
Yeah, like he had a special string of words that went along with it.
Oh, right. I mean, I imagine they just described dynamite in tremendous detail. What I do like is his weapon. It was like a big telescope, and then he just screws a stick of dynamite into the bit he looked in and lights it, and that's going to blow up the Earth.
Yeah, and that was going to be the rocket.
Like, I'm wondering if that is going to blow up the Earth, or if he's fundamentally misunderstood.
I mean, it had V6 written on the side of it, so it's like a V6 rocket, but I mean...
But with a scope.
Yeah.
You just sort of line it up like a sniper rifle.
Yeah, and away it goes.
Yeah. But yeah, they seem to launch all rockets, both the Martians and the Earth government with a stick of dynamite.
Yeah.
You just sort of strap it in
go,
like that. That'll do you. But yeah, Marvin sends the dog to retrieve the fuse, the dynamite. Bugs, being the seductive soul he is, gets out of that one. Marvin shows up. Bugs puts on a good Martian disguise because it's not a Bugs episode without a disguise.
Yeah, and he's got a floaty scooter.
Yeah. And he delivers a new plunger for the fuse.
Well,
and a really long fuse.
He gives them a stick of dynamite, and Marvin's like, "Oh, brilliant! Mars have sent this to me." He then goes back to where the rocket is, and then Bugs just blows up, which is why I think it's not the same thing. Dynamite isn't the same thing that Bugs took. He kept a hold of that and then gave them this stick of dynamite. But when he hit the plunger, we just like panned out and we just saw the moon, and there was just a huge explosion, and we're left with a crescent moon.
Do you think that the stick of dynamite he gave them was the one for his return journey?
Possibly,
but because his rocket got
smashed up, there was no point.
No. It was like, well, I've got to use for this.
Yeah, exactly.
And he uses it to blow up the rocket while it's still on the moon, but it leaves us with a big crescent moon. At that point, the government seems fit to return his calls rather than just send him adverts.
Yeah.
What was it for? It was about...
It was some sort of cereal which you could feed to your guests and then put the rest in your mattress.
Yeah.
It's like, all right.
It was like, okay,
had a great little jingle.
Yeah, so previously all his calls for help have yielded that.
Yeah.
And only now do they tune in and go, "Oh, Bugs, where are you? Have you got a message for the press?" And he goes, "Yeah, I've got a message for the press. Get me out of here." And he's hanging from like a point of the moon with the Martian dog and Marvin the Martian hanging from his legs. And that is the cliffhanger ending to this episode.
Yeah, see, no, like, what this has got me thinking is, does the moon grow back? Or do they... Because
we've seen the moon destroyed several times.
Yeah, so...
Or at least seemingly so.
I mean, this is the first time we've seen a space episode. And I imagine that's potentially because of the space race starting to happen on our side, or at least that's the way it's starting to go.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to work out what the motivation on the Toon side is for having a space race.
Yeah.
But maybe that's not what they're doing.
No, like maybe just
maybe while here, like the US was bigging up the communist issue. Over that side, it's just a Martian issue. It's like we know they exist.
We know they're trying to blow up the Earth.
But yeah, who knows? And who knows whether Bugs was informed of the nature of his mission? But we do think we've got the most accurate view of the moon we've had so far.
Yeah.
Because it's actually in space. But yeah, the nature of the moon and whether it grows back, whether it's repaired. Like,
well, I mean, we
whether
assumed
they just ball up what's left into a smaller moon.
But I mean, we assumed that because there's been points where we've seen the moon in the sky being a dickhead. So it's possible the moon is actually a living creature, and there's enough of it left for it to grow back.
Yeah, absolutely possible.
Because we only assume that their moon is like our moon, and I mean, to be honest, I've never been to our moon, so I don't even know our moon's not a living creature. I'm assuming it's a rock.
I thought it was cheese.
It might be cheese, rock, living creature. Who knows? Never been to the moon. But their moon might just be another toon.
Yeah, who knows? I'm looking forward to seeing more of these like celestial bodies actually realised, and we can compare them to what we, well, not know, but, you know,
yeah,
I'm told.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, good to see Marvin. Good to see Bugs like actually in peril for once.
Yeah, because he couldn't get off the moon.
He can't use his TARDIS powers.
No.
TARDIS in this situation, for those who don't remember, is time and relative dimension in soil.
Yeah.
There's no soil on the moon.
There's not.
So Bugs can travel wherever he wants through time and space.
On Earth.
On Earth.
But that's it.
In the confines of Earth. Be interesting if he ever winds up on a planet where, with plant life, where it was like, well, this is soil, but I suppose, but like, I know, is it
Earth-like soil? That's
Earth-like
the
soil?
thing. And can he go from?
Are these silicon-based life forms?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Like can he go from that planet to Earth and dot in between?
Can he attune to the soil?
Yeah.
And then can he combine the two? Who knows?
Well, hopefully we'll find out.
We're not going to find out from this soil-free moon episode.
We're not, are
so
we?
I think we're just going to have to move on.
I think that's a good idea.
I think it's going to be a good Unstoppable Force meets Immovable Object episode here, because we have Daffy Duck, the Unstoppable Force of just mad but persistent bird madness.
Yeah.
And we've got Henry Hawk, who just doesn't give up.
No.
Like, and
He's relentless.
normally gets the job done.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see if they are put at loggerheads.
Or whether or not they become firm friends.
What will happen? Or will they become firm friends?
Yeah.
So let's find out in You Were Never Duckier, which is a Daffy Duck and Henry Hawk episode from August 7th, 1948. No Cinecolor, no clones.
I'm looking forward to it.
Daffy Duck, hoist by his own petard.
I know. That was an interesting episode.
It was. I mean, I don't really. I mean, it had a lot of that. Why didn't he escape there and there and there?
Yeah.
Aspect to it.
But again, like we've talked about this numerous times. When you're in a bit,
when you're in a bit, yeah,
you got to hang around, don't you?
Yeah, it's the toon rule. You've got to commit to the bit.
Exactly, and they always do.
Which presumably is why the rubber glove was so firmly glued to his head. But we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So Daffy Duck, in a fetching green hat, I might add.
That's a really nice one as well.
Yeah, it's good. Comes upon a theatre in the city that's having currently hosting an awards ceremony.
Yeah.
For the best duck and the best rooster.
Yes.
The reward for the best
rooster
is $5,000. The award for the best duck is $5.
He's not happy about that, is he?
He says it's discrimination. It's unconstitutional. So he immediately sets about disguising himself as a rooster and entering himself into the rooster competition.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, flash over to Henry Hawk, who's been put to bed after being, shown a book by his father.
Yeah.
Of various types of rooster.
Yeah.
But then he says, okay, right, it's time for bed, son. Tucks him in. But Henry Hawk, we know he's a tenacious...
He's a go-getter.
Little guy. He's a go-getter.
Yeah.
He's a positive mental attitude. Yeah. And also superhuman strength.
That's insane.
But, so he sets out and comes across the same theatre.
Yeah.
And entering it, finds Daffy, tries to nick him. Doesn't really work out. Daffy just thinks he's sleepwalking, goes back. Eventually he catches Henry trying to nick him and goes, what's going on? And Henry's he's saying a lot about how much his dad will be excited to see this prize.
Yeah, he says he's the finest judge of chicken flesh.
Yeah.
And Daffy, hearing judge, just goes, "Oh, brilliant! Well, they can judge me now then."
I mean, I do like the fact that Daffy finds the discrepancy in award for ducks and roosters unconstitutional.
Yeah.
But going to bribe a judge before a competition,
he's fine with
that's
that.
fine. But there you go. So he goes back to Henry's house by his own volition. To discover that he has misunderstood the situation.
Yeah.
And what's his name? George K. Chickenhawk.
Yeah, that's it.
Henry's dad is, in fact, as his name would suggest, a chicken hawk.
Just a chicken hawk.
And they set about, moving to cook him up.
Yeah, it is like a scene out of like some sort of like slasher, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
He's sort of strung up, like, crying out for help.
Yeah, like strung up on a meat hook.
Yeah, George K. Chickenhawk is sharpening a cleaver.
Yeah,
it's very.
But at this point, Daffy.
Tense.
It is, but at this point, Daffy hops himself off the hook, stands there going, "Look, I think you've got things wrong here. I'm actually a duck." Jumps into a vat of water that's there, starts quacking about, jumps back out and goes, "See, I'm just a duck." Then jumps back onto the hook. Out of choice, and you're like, why would you go back on the hook? If you can get off and stay off. But then he gets back down again and goes, it must be the
rubber glove on my head.
Yeah, the rubber glove and the feathers on my back that are upsetting.
So he tries to pull them off. He can't get it off.
No, but one of my favourite bits out of the whole thing, and it probably shouldn't have been, but it was where he pulls it really high and lets go, and it just ends up enveloping his whole body.
Yeah, and it looks like a sort of full latex bodysuit.
Yeah, it's like, that's hilarious. Yeah.
But yeah, so he tries to escape. He runs out the front door and is grabbed by the rubber glove.
Yeah, but that means he could have ran out that front door at any point. As soon as he was off the hook, he could have just been bolting for the door.
Yeah, but again, commitment to the bit.
Exactly.
Right? But when he pops, he springs back because the guy's holding the rubber glove, and it winds up on that guy's head.
Yeah, ends up on George's head.
And then they chase him around.
Yeah.
And that's going on for a while. And then Henry, unfortunately for him at this juncture, chooses the mallet, which is Daffy Duck's weapon of choice.
Exactly.
As the one to take him down. And Daffy's going to be able to avoid any attack you make on him with a mallet.
Of course
You're not getting Daffy Duck with a mallet.
You're really not.
Like, he's a professional.
Yeah.
And he ends up conking his dad on the head. So Daffy escapes, goes back to the show, and he thinks he's about to win this award. And it goes... The award goes to this fine Rhode Island, whatever
Red
it was,
Rooster,
Red Rooster, and it pans across, and it's George K. Chickenhawk with a rubber,
taking
glove
the
on his head.
$5,000 check.
And so Daffy, pulls the rubber glove off his head in the hope of getting the award for the duck, and it pans across, and it's Henry with a clothes peg on his face,
and
getting
like
the $5.
flippers on his feet. Now, what that tells me is there was only 3 things entered that competition, and Daffy didn't win one of them.
Yeah, it filled the theatre, though.
It did, yeah. Everyone was really interested.
But we answered some questions. Who comes out better out of Henry Hawk and Daffy Duck? Henry Hawk.
Yeah, he was $5 up.
Is Daffy losing his edge?
I don't know. It's a bit of an odd one because that wasn't...
It wasn't combat.
It wasn't like Daffy's forte. He was just trying to win a competition. And the thing is George looked more like a chicken with that rubber glove on his head than Daffy looked like a chicken.
Yeah. It wasn't the best plan in the first place.
No, but what he did is he distracted the main competition initially and plucked the chicken feathers out of the rooster's bum.
But we know
with chicken porn.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, that was
horrific chicken porn.
Oh yeah, it was horrible. It was like a pin-up girl, but but it was a chicken plucked from
nude.
The neck down, and then sat like a pin-up girl.
Yeah,
and it's just like, I don't even know what that says about feathers in this world. Like, are they clothes?
I don't know. It is one thing to take your clothes off, but to take your feathers out, that's like...
But then
is it any different than shaving yourself?
Daffy rolls his sleeves up all the time and, has stuff on under the...
But I don't think it's any different than shaving yourself, though, is it?
I suppose not. But at the same time, plucking a chicken's very much associated, for me anyway, with eating a chicken.
Yeah.
I don't think... when a rooster goes, I'm gonna get me some action, he goes in there and plucks the chicken from the neck down before doing his business.
Probably not.
It seems unlikely to me.
It does, yeah.
But we haven't seen anything like that. We haven't seen any
No.
sort of voyeuristic.
But like, and I'm quite glad for that. But as you say, like Daffy does like roll his sleeves up, and he's got like skin, and we see cats doing it all the time.
Yeah, but with Daffy, we put it down to he was given various like
disguises
armor and stuff to hide.
Yeah.
And so actually, he was for his military service.
Yeah.
Plucked from the down, and he wears an outfit.
Yeah.
But my thinking was more that just like with the plucking thing, it's like if that's like clothes, then like when you eat a chicken, are you just undressing it?
Or when it goes in the bath, does it have to pluck itself to
like
get in the
their
bath?
universe, like is every sexual encounter like really tense up until the point where you actually start the act. It's like, well, one or two things is going to happen here.
But maybe that's why patty cake became such a thing.
Maybe.
Because like we talked about this in the live show, because they were playing patty cake quite a lot, and we came to the conclusion that patty cake was actually a sexual act.
Yeah, in the
Marooniverse especially, but maybe not in the
it's more of a
Tooniverse.
sort of like fooling around type thing, but like it's at least like, it's it brings Toons some stimulation, because that's what was it Acme? Marvin Acme?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Marvin Acme and Jessica Rabbit were caught
playing patty cake,
and it was a big deal.
Yeah. I mean, what I'm thinking is, general day to day, you play a patty cake. If you're wanting to reproduce, it's full plucking.
Yeah. So
or you do it with your clothes on.
Yeah, because then at that point, at least you've established some level of commitment.
Yeah.
Over several encounters before you're going to let someone plug you from the neck down. But yeah, I mean, does it go across different animals? Like,
I don't know.
Like if you're a dog, you shave yourself from the neck down?
I mean, maybe not fully.
So you just crack on?
Oh, well, maybe you just shave the important areas.
Like if it's an animal that's like, that wears clothes,
yeah,
do you just get undressed and do it? But like, might they be eaten if they just take the jacket off? It's just raised a lot of questions, and it's a lot of strange questions in the sort of, well, the way they were dressed, they were asking for it realm.
Yeah.
But not about a sexual thing, just about not
being
asking
eaten.
to be eaten.
Yeah.
Like if Porky Pig decides one day
to take his clothes off.
It's hot out. I'm gonna forego my bow tie, and if it gets too hot while I'm walking about, I might just take my jacket off. Can you just munch him down?
Just stick him on a hog roast and away you go.
Is that legit?
I don't think. I think there's probably still rules. I think there's probably still kind of sentient, non-sentient rules that you've got to abide by.
Yeah, but my point is,
if they're going, don't eat me, I'm just a naked toon.
If you'd mistakenly, in a fit of just overwhelming hunger, just munched down a sentient pig because he'd taken his jacket off,
you're off to prison.
Sorry, straight to prison.
I reckon you're off to prison.
Straight to prison.
Because the thing is, you're not going to just munch down a whole live pig, are you?
I don't know how hungry people get.
I can't imagine you get.
It's the Tooniverse.
It is the Tooniverse, but
see people eat entire turkeys just in a gulp.
Yeah, not live though.
No, not live. But
because I think at the point that you shout, "Don't eat me, I'm a live toon," or "I'm a sentient toon," they have to stop.
What if you had lost your voice? You had a frog in your throat or something.
Then I mean, I think the burden of proof.
You just about manage a croak before you croak.
No, the burden of proof must fall to the eater, not the eatee.
Okay, I mean that seems fair, but it seems logical. But at the same time,
it's the Tooniverse. Nothing's logical.
Nothing really works that way. So those are my concerns surrounding that episode. Yeah. Shall we take a brief look in the Porky Piggy Bank?
I think it's worth it. I'm going to make sure I put the clothes on it though.
Yeah.
In case we decide to eat it.
Yeah, but mate, we'll put a shirt on the Porky Piggy Bank and then we'll take a look in it.
All right. Okay.
Okay, we've clothed the Porky Pig. Not closed. I haven't developed a speech impediment.
No, clothed. Yep. I don't want to eat it now. I was tempted.
That was tempting.
Porcelain.
So we make the Space Jam Continuum for free.
Every time.
Endlessly.
All the time.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Our service.
It's just impeccable. It really is.
But if you listen to and enjoy the show, there are a few things you could do to help us out. Not least, please, if you listen on iTunes, leave us a review because it really helps our visibility in the iTunes community. People can actually see us on various ratings lists.
As soon as we get a rating, it's amazing.
So thank you to Millie Matt for leaving us a review. Help us out, you guys who listen on iTunes. We know you're there. We've got the metrics. Just take a minute out. It'll be a massive, massive help.
If you're listening to this now on your iPhone, just do it now.
Literally this
whilst
second.
We're talking.
Just give it a pause.
Yeah.
Drop us a review. It doesn't even have to be clever.
No, just
have to be
well
funny.
done.
Yeah,
5 stars.
Well done, 5 stars. Other than that, over on kaiju.fm, there's a bunch of other shows for you to check out, and as well as a support us page. So if you listen to our show and enjoy it, go over there, check out some of the other shows, and please consider giving to the Patreon. For as little as $1 a month, which is 25 cents an episode or less if you only listen to us, you can massively help us out just keeping the whole thing ticking over.
Well, I say it all goes towards just keeping the network running. You know, we're not going to spend it on tea and beer. It's literally just for hosting the network.
Otherwise, the only way these things grow is word of mouth. It's literally the only way it really happens. So if you enjoy the show, there's a high chance other people that you hang around with will enjoy the show. So please tell them about it. Because, if you've listened this far, if you've been listening from the start and you're this far...
You're probably enjoying it.
You're probably quite enjoying it, and there's a high chance other people will too. So please tell them about it, because, that's how these things grow. That's how we can get a community together.
Yeah. You could always write notes, ball them up and throw them at people from a bus.
Yeah, but that normally annoys people, and we don't want them to start out annoyed.
Not if you put sweets in it.
We want them to get annoyed as we talk.
If you put sweets in it, they might be like, oh, someone's throwing me some sweets.
That's an option.
Yeah.
So just think creatively, but telling people's probably more effective.
Probably, yeah.
Otherwise, you can find us on Twitter at TSJ Community. Get involved in the chit chat. Give us your theories, give us your queries. We did the live show a little while ago, and it was great to have some other people's input.
Yeah, it was really good.
And because it's a catalyst for these things, and it's nice to have the discussion. So please get involved there, or find us on Facebook. Just search the Space Jam Continuum, and you'll find us.
Yeah, exactly.
Get involved in the discussion. Have a chat with your like-minded friends, and we'll try and spread this madness. Yeah,
it'll be good. Once there's billions of people listening to it, you'll be able to talk about it all day to everybody all the time.
Absolutely.
That'd be great.
But above all, just thank you for listening. Thank you for sticking with us this far. It's good to know that there's a bunch of you out there absorbing the good investigative journalism that we've been doing.
It's all 100% accurate as well.
It's all 100%
we are yet to be proven wrong.
We've never been wrong.
Nope.
Our promo this week is for Lore Masters, which is hosted by our very own Rob Kaiju, head of the network. So if you like the sound of what you hear in the next few seconds, go check it out.
It is a dark and stormy night, the wind lashing down, and you're facing against your greatest challenge yet. A player who's gone in the wrong direction. We've all been there, you've got our story planned out, and this player heads off in the wrong direction, and you've got nothing to fill that gap. Well, my name's Rob, and I've started a podcast to help you. The podcast is called Lore Masters, and each week I bring you something for your game. It could be a hook, it could be an object, it could be a person, it could be a city, it could be a whole story arc. If you're a dungeon master and you want some inspiration, please check us out wherever you find podcasts. And remember, you're not alone.
Once more into the breach then.
Yeah.
It's a Cinecolor episode, so we've got to be on Clonewatch.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one.
We need a little jingle for that.
Yeah, Clonewatch.
Or just like a little sting. Clonewatch. Just every time.
All right, we'll get on that.
It's a Cinecolor episode. Clonewatch.
Yeah, we'll get on that and make up a little bit for it.
Yeah, I want more sound effects.
Yeah. Season 2 now, man.
Yeah, we've got to.
Budget's getting bigger. Let's do it.
The budget's got incrementally larger.
Yeah.
Yep. So we've got some new characters again.
Yes.
So, particular Clonewatch time. But it doesn't say first appearance of in our list. And normally in our list, if it says first appearance of, it means these people are going to show up again.
Yeah, continuing characters.
And it does not say that.
No.
So we've got Heathcliff and Louis. We don't know who they are.
No.
We both thought we'd heard Heathcliff before somewhere.
Yeah.
And thought he was a cat. And from images we've seen, it looks like that might be true.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible that Heathcliff and Louis are clones of other creatures that we may have seen before.
Oh, we did have those guys who were cats, then rats.
Yeah.
Ooh,
but that was that not Babbitt and Costello?
That was Babbitt and Costello.
And we assumed that was actually Abbott and Costello
Abbott
coming
and Costello,
in.
Yeah, coming in, and that's what was going on. But I mean, we still never got to the bottom of why that happened to them.
And it is, but it is possible that if we look back at it, they might be Cinecolor.
Okay, well, let's watch this one. Take a look back to see if those Babbitt and Costello ones were Cinecolor episodes, and have a little think about it. But right now, we're watching Do Re Meow, which is a Heathcliff and Louis number from August 14th, 1948. Cinecolor. Clonewatch.
We need a jingle.
No, the whisper's no good. It sounds like a perfume advert.
Yeah, but if it was a perfume advert, there would be no context to it whatsoever. It would just be, I don't know, like a wispy mountain and
I think that's what
turtle.
It's going to be.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's give it a go.
Okay. Well, Cinecolor are at it again.
Yeah, well, we saw at least another brown Hector in there, unmentioned.
Exactly.
In these archives.
Didn't last long, though, did he?
He didn't last long. You had a theory about what's going on here, but the premise largely on the surface of it is you've got Heathcliff, who's a cat. He's not very bright.
Yeah.
You've got Louis. He's a bird. Pretty smart.
Yeah.
Heathcliff gets a letter saying he's inherited $1 million in a sort of Brewster's Millions situation, although it doesn't really get to the Brewster's Millions bit. It's just he was reading Brewster's Millions at the start, and then they got a letter saying he's inherited some money from his uncle.
Yeah.
Louis doesn't read him the letter.
No, because Heathcliff can't read.
Just trying to get rid of him. Basically just trying to get rid of him.
Well,
Either get him to leave or die or whatever.
Yeah, because I think in the will, it essentially said that it goes to Heathcliff, and in the event of Heathcliff's disappearance, it goes to Louis.
Yeah.
So Louis was like, well, I'll get rid of him.
Yeah, without a second thought.
Yeah.
The episode is pretty much entirely Louis trying to get rid of Heathcliff up until the point where at the end Heathcliff is deceased.
Yeah.
His 9 lives have left his body. The 9th one's still there. Louis can see it, and he goes, "It's a shame. It's a shame you got to leave us because you would have inherited $1 million and you can't take it with you." At which point, his 9th life, Wolf whistles at the other 8, and they all just fly back in, and he just gets up and says, "Well, if I can't take it with me, I ain't going."
Yeah,
that's the broad shape of the episode.
Yeah.
Now, you don't reckon that's really what's afoot, though, do you?
Well, see, the way I see it, I reckon, do you know when America was doing nuclear testing and they would build villages and stuff like that and populate them with mannequins and stuff like that? I reckon what Cinecolor have done is they've bought an area and they've made a township out of it, and that's where they're putting their clones, and they're putting them through different tests. So I think this one was largely we've got these two, we've got a cat, we've got a bird. Heathcliff, he's not very intelligent, but fundamentally indestructible. Other than the dynamite, that's the only thing.
So do you think they're sort of stress testing the different results of their
Yeah,
clones?
so that's it. I think they're putting them through the test. So this one, they sent them the letter just to see how they would react in the situation, because before that, every time Heathcliff got into problem, Louis would sort it out for him.
So do you reckon it's in a sort of there are no wrong answers, we're just trying to see to what you might best be suited so we can sell you on for that purpose?
Yeah, either that or they're testing out different serums to see which one's the best, so they're probably going to want to keep the resilience section of the serum that was given to Heathcliff and potentially keep the intelligence side that was given to Louis.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm wondering how much, what animal you put it into is going to affect it.
Possibly.
Have they both had the same serum, but it's having an effect?
It's manifest differently.
Bird than on the cat.
Yeah.
And as we say, we've got another Hector in there.
Yeah, but he gets killed quite quickly by Heathcliff.
Yeah, he gets
and
off
Heathcliff
pretty
doesn't
quickly.
batter an eyelid.
But I'm wondering, are these all one stage of like the serum and going, okay, well, this
Next
isn't working. I mean, it's working pretty well for the intelligence of Louis, but not very well for anything else.
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing I noticed is Heathcliff is a lot like Catstello.
Yeah.
Like a lot. Like even from the very first thing that happens is he comes in, he's got a mousetrap on his paw.
Yes.
And he's just going, Louis, Louis, which was what annoyed you about
It was. It didn't annoy me
Catstello.
in that, though.
No, it wasn't the same. It wasn't quite the same voice. It wasn't,
No.
Babette!
God, that grates on me. But yeah, what I did find quite funny at one point is he's coming through and he's got a purple head. Heathcliff's got a purple head. And he's holding and he's choking. I was like, oh, he's obviously swallowed something and Louis going to, like, slap him to get it out. And no, he just slaps him and goes, breathe. You forgot to breathe again. And it's like, wow, that's next level.
But do you think that's, like, do you think his intelligence is actually lowered by the fact that he has to very consciously think about performing all basic bodily
well, see,
function,
like years
and
ago,
so much of his brain is occupied by that.
Yeah, like years ago, I came up with this theory, and it was probably alcohol induced, but it was this theory that sheep are incredibly intelligent, but they have to manage all of their body functions. So they have to be digesting, beating heart, growing wool,
and actively thinking about all those things.
Whereas we don't. Like, your heart beats, you breathe, you process oxygen, you process all your food. Everything's done automatically, which gives you enough time to just do the other things you want to do, like this podcast.
So for instance.
Yeah. Whereas sheep, they've got to do all these things. If they could automate a lot of their processes, they would be highly intelligent and probably take over. So I'm thinking it's very similar in this. Heathcliff, it's possible that he is as intelligent as Louis.
I'm not letting this just slide that quickly.
I'm bringing it back to the Space Jam Continuum.
Okay,
you know?
yeah, but we'll bring it back in a sec. What led
What's
you to
your question?
believe this about sheep specifically?
I don't know. I don't think it was just necessarily sheep specifically, but that was the one that I always kind of.
That was your anchor point.
Yeah, that was the one I went. But I can't remember exactly. I spent a lot of time in the hills. I had a lot of time to think up random stuff. You know, I
during
can't.
your time as a hermit.
Not necessarily, but you know, I can't tell you the exact catalyst for this. This thought,
yeah.
But it is something that I thought about and have told several people. And now,
I like the fact you said have told several people as if that's some sort of badge of merit.
Yeah,
So I've told several people.
I've told several people about it. It's a good one. But now I'm applying that same logic to old Heathcliff here.
I mean, I do think it's, you know, a reasonable thing to apply to Heathcliff.
Yeah.
I want to stress not to sheep, but to Heathcliff. I kind of see that just because you don't really know what's going to happen if you just build, like if you build a clone,
yeah.
like if you just grown a body and tried to, you know,
apply sentience,
full on like intelligence, like you're going to get a lot of dodgy ones that don't really function properly.
Do you reckon they're cloning non-sentient animals and then stressing them, or do you reckon they're cloning sentient animals?
I think they're trying to skip straight to sentient. But
right.
because otherwise I wouldn't say they're cloning people, are they? They're just getting animals and stressing them out.
But I'm wondering whether or not they found an animal, they're cloning that animal with certain abilities and then stressing them, or whether or not they're cloning a already sentient creature. Yeah, I don't know. I'm open to both. I
think they're trying to skip straight to sentient animal. I think that's probably what's going on.
Maybe they should have started with non-sentient first, like Dolly.
But maybe they did.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe this is the next stage. This is why we're only just seeing it manifest now.
Possibly.
Because the program probably started before the war.
Yeah, I'd have thought so, yeah.
And now, they're just, it's the next stage of it because they've got to fight the Martian menace.
Yeah. So I just had another thought.
I could see you had a thought. Yeah, I wish this was on video because you very visibly had a thought there. It was borderline light bulb above the head. It's a lot of squinting eyes looking up.
Yeah, I can make that work. So what I was thinking is whether or not the cloning process is actually made easier by jumping out of the portal, coming into our side, painting a character. So copying them.
Is this why they're Cinecolor?
So I'm thinking that maybe they have been there's copyright infringement. So it's not quite legal, and then they're dragging them back into the Tooniverse.
I mean, we are still in the sort of stage where a lot of the episodes were being coloured later.
Yeah.
Like painting over the...
Yeah. But that's what Cinecolor is.
They
put
another piece of like celluloid over.
Yeah.
And they paint the character, and then they project it through a portal into the Tooniverse.
Oh! Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you think that's how they're doing it?
Yeah, I do think that's how they're doing it.
That's what that thought was. Did you see it? It was a big one.
I also like the idea that you can create a toon in the Tooniverse by projecting celluloid from our side.
Yeah.
That can also explain, for instance, why Peter Lorre's there in some sort of weird form.
Yeah.
Is they played a Peter Lorre film like through the portal.
Oh God!
I don't know if you can sort of like shine the portal through film and it just goes boom, and it's like, oh, that just manifests.
Oh God!
But that's interesting.
Is
that why Hitler had such a fixation with film and filmmakers?
Possibly.
Is that how the Nazis got into the Tooniverse? We
Very
just don't
possible.
know.
No.
It's stuff to think about.
Yeah.
And I think that's stuff to think about episode to episode.
Yeah.
So I think we should wrap it up for this week, because that's a juicy dangler.
All right then.
Yeah. You're good when you're ill.
I know, right?
When your brain's not really working, you just stabbing in the dark.
Firing out nuggets. It's amazing.
Nug after nug. That's us for this week. If you're really missing our dulcet tones, you can find us in various other places. I've one more episode left to record of The Prestige with Rob over at Kaiju. I'm taking him through some Wes Anderson films. There are 3 episodes up at the time of recording. It's probably 4 by the time you listen to it. And we've still got Isle of Dogs to do.
It's a good film.
Yeah, I've only seen it once as well, so I'm looking forward to watching it again and really, getting into the juice of it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's still a couple of episodes left to go on Merely Role Players, which is our podcast friend, Merely Matt's podcast where a theatre group play role-playing games, homebrew role-playing games. It's a spy thriller, and I'm in there doing a bad Scottish accent.
That's good, yeah.
It's reaching its thrilling conclusion. And
big times ahead.
It's going to be good. I'm excited about the last one.
Excellent. And if if listening to me on here is not enough, and you really want to listen to my voice talking about something slightly different, you can find me on By the Mash Tun, which is on Kaiju as well, where me and Mike talk about homebrewing. We develop a recipe. We brew the recipe, and then we taste and review commercial versions of that style of beer. So, yeah, that's somewhere else you can listen to me.
And Mike's got a really good voice.
He has got a really good radio voice.
If you just want to... you should do one where you just replace you with also Mike. Mike has to act you, and then people can just listen to it and to just nod off to this is nice.
That's not a bad idea.
Like
so
Mike.
I can just script what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Or write it down and then just go, right, okay, record it again,
I think
but
you
miss
do the
my
whole
bits
episode,
out.
and then you
just re-edit it with him saying all my bits.
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea, is it?
It'd be a good episode then.
So you can find By the Mash Tun and The Prestige over on kaiju.fm, and you can find Merely Roleplayers at Merely Roleplay on Twitter, and they're all available anywhere you listen to podcasts. So hunt them down, check them out.
Yeah, enjoy them.
Otherwise, until next week,
Bye!